All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Kathy Davis,
And my name is Corby Eason.
and this is the Youth Suicide Anti-Bullying Prevention Grant Awardees Training. Thank you for joining us today. So we're going to just start with some introductions and some grant history. I've been in my position since 2015. And so the grants that I oversee are House Bill 329, the Secondary Suicide Prevention Grant, and we're in our fourth year. And then last year, with the last legislative session, House Bill 346 added elementary suicide prevention. And so this is our first year, and that allocated $45,000 for suicide prevention. And you should have gotten your award letters last week, I believe. And then Corby is in charge of another aspect of the grants. I'll let him explain.
Yes, so my responsibility is House Bill 3, Anti-Bullying and Suicide Prevention Grant. And that's been going on for 3 years. And I know throughout the information I received from the field that it may have been some confusion between HB 3 grant versus HB 329 grant. And so kind of just giving you the difference between the two. With my grant, the Anti-Bullying and Suicide Prevention Grant, schools are only allowed the max of $500 per school, and the district only allow a max of $10,000 per LEA district. But for a school is the max of $500. And so sorry for the confusion. Next year we'll do a better job of a brief description of all grants, all 3 different grants, and so there won't be any confusion.
All right, we just wanted to start the seminar out with showing you a video, and this is the link in which you can go ahead and access the video. It's also on Vimeo and YouTube, but this is something that we wanted to start out with that's really powerful.
Mom?
Dad?
Try to understand.
Sometimes I'm gonna be a little impulsive.
Sometimes I'm gonna be a lot impulsive.
I mean, I'm a teenager.
Like when I went through that really bad breakup.
To you, it may have been no big deal.
But to me, it was my whole world.
It was my whole life.
Remember when I got arrested?
I actually thought that I would never be able to show my face in school again.
And when that rumor about me started spreading
All over social media.
I thought it would never end.
Like, I thought the only solution was for me to end.
Not to freak you out or anything,
But the leading cause of death in Utah,
For teens,
It's suicide.
And nearly half of those suicides are from firearms.
and sorry, but they're usually yours.
So help us out here.
because we may be impulsive, but
We want to live.
almost all the time.
But in case there are times that we forget, keep your guns and ammo locked up safely.
Keep your guns and ammo locked up safely.
Locked up safely.
Because doing this little thing,
Can make a big difference.
Okay, there we go. I think we're all set. We'll just go ahead and continue on. We just wanted to start out with that video. This is a collaboration that we had with the Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health to follow up with Is Your Safety On campaign. And this is an excellent resource for you. And the reason we wanted to do this is we want to emphasize how preventable. Okay. Are you seeing the PowerPoint now? Oh, it's back now. It's back now? Okay. Anyway, so in your prevention efforts, this is one thing that a lot of times we like to emphasize, that firearm is one of the leading causes of suicide death in Utah. And in our prevention efforts, restriction to fatal means is one of the best ways to prevent suicide. And so it's also followed up with suffocation, poisoning, and other means. So we just wanted to review for you the youth suicides in Utah, give you an overview of the recent data that we've received and talk to you a little bit about this. Right now, suicide is the leading cause of death for Utah youth ages 10 through 17. We're currently ranking 5th highest in the U.S. for youth suicides. And just in terms of gender trends, females have a higher suicide attempt rate. Males die from suicide at a higher rate. And then, as you saw in the slide previous, firearms and suffocation are the leading cause of suicide deaths. So this is the most recent SHARP survey data that we've gotten. And what I've done is given you state suicide data over the last 3 testing cycles, and you'll see that if you're just looking at trends, the first question is needs mental health treatment, and over the years of these 3 testing cycles, we've seen that the trends have increased, and whether they felt sad or hopeless for more than 2 weeks, if they've considered attempting suicide during the past year, and so on and so forth. This is something that you can access, and we can give you links to the SHARP survey data, and then you can access your own district data to see what the trends are in your particular district. So one interesting thing that came out of the SHARP survey was a question that was added for the 2017 cycle, and it was the past month student outreach for mental health and the perceived acceptability of mental health outreach. In other words, we were testing to see if our students were seeking help or not. And one thing that was really telling that it was that 52.6% said they felt this way, that they were suicidal, but they couldn't talk to anyone about it. And so that's saying to all of us that there is a huge gap in help seeking and an area in which we can improve and do better. And this is just the data right here that shows that I felt this way, but I didn't want to talk to anyone about this. And it's most prominent amongst our older grades, our 10th and 12th graders. The 6th graders are more likely to talk to their parents, but as they get older, they are less likely to talk to their parents. And this is just a slide that's going to give you an overview of past suicide ideation and attempts over, now we've had 4 testing cycles or 4 years of data, and you can see that in terms of trends, suicide ideation and suicide attempts are on the rise. And I'm going to turn the time over to Corby to address the need for mental health treatment in serious past year depression by race and ethnicity.
Yeah, so as we disaggregate the data on the question on do you need mental health treatment and service or had serious past depression within the last year, you notice there, you can see that each subgroup on the purple is, the pink is need some mental health treatment, and the purple is feeling seriously depressed. And as you look at each subgroup, you'll notice that the Hispanic population has the highest feeling depressed within the past year based off the survey. And also same with the mental health treatment, they rank the highest between each subgroup. And also you can see that most of them, the students of color, they are seeking mental health treatment and also feeling more depressed. And the idea is looking in each population, seeing the cultural context of the feeling of mental health treatment, and as an educator, it's being able to see what barriers that is preventing each subgroup from getting help or feeling like they cannot get help. So that's something that we need to look at.
Okay, we had a question, is this Utah or national data? And this is Utah data, so this is data that came off of the most recent SHARP survey in 2017.
Also, we look at our local data on the reason that kids are being bullied as being a factor of having a suicide plan. And one of the things that really stood out, that the data showed that really stood out, 51% of the kids that are being bullied is being based on perceived sexual orientation. And that's 51% of the collected surveys. And next thing that stood out the most was 41% that being bullied is based off gender. And so you can see that gender and sexual orientation, perceived sexual orientation, are some of the main factors of kids being bullied. Then the third highest one would be kids with learning or physical disability. And so those are the top three, but also as you look at the data, you can see that some are very high, and there are some things that we need to consider.
So the reason we have this slide in our overview is to help you understand just from a longitudinal aspect, and this is data that's going to go back to 1999 to 2015, and you can see that back in 1999, motor vehicle crashes exceeded, they were the primary reason for deaths amongst our young people, but now as we've gone through the years, in 2015, suicide has surpassed motor vehicle accidents. And one thing that we attribute to this is the prevention efforts that we've had in the driver's ed department with the Zero Fatalities campaign, the graduated drivers program, and things like that. And so right now, what we want to do and prescribe to all of you is that we are going to have a plan that's going to take some time to decrease this rate of increase that we're seeing with our suicides. Because currently Utah ranks 5th in the nation, but if you look at the area in the Intermountain West, that we are, that the rates are in line with other areas in the Intermountain West as well. So one thing that I get asked quite a bit is the youth suicides by year, and I've just updated this, and so you can kind of see what's happened. And this is total youth suicides ages 10 to 17, and currently we are at 41 youth suicides in the ages of 10 to 17. So if you can kind of see what's been happening since 2012, it's been increasing, and we did see a decrease in the rate in 2016, and then it's going back up again. And the next series of slides are just to represent that these are aggregate numbers, but they are representing all of our youth throughout the state. And that's what I want each and every one of us to keep in mind, that these are aggregate numbers with just the tears washed away. As you look at all the folks that have been impacted by youth suicide. One thing I did was add this slide, and I don't know if you can see this very well. At the most recent Rocky Mountain Suicide Prevention Conference, Jean, and I think her last name is Twenge, I can't pronounce it very well. She has a new book out called iGen, Why Today's Super Connected Kids Are Growing Up Less Rebellious, More Tolerant, Less Happy, and Completely Unprepared for Adulthood. This is a great read, and one that I would urge you all to read just to get an idea of just what's happening on a generational level with our young people. So one thing I want you to keep in mind are the statewide suicide prevention efforts. This is the most recent plan that's just come out. It's a 10-year plan, and just as you've looked at the data, we've seen about a 45% increase in our suicide death rates between 2010 and 2014. And so what we've decided to do is really support a collaborative, multifaceted, community-based work. And as you're doing your grants, we really urge that you have community partners and that you work with your local suicide prevention and anti-bullying coalitions, and focus on not only trauma but also loss, and focus on those areas of building resilience, because that will reinforce the protective factors that we want to emphasize for our kids. Fight stigma in all forms and expand your school-based suicide prevention.
Oh yeah. So with the new, just to give you an update on SafeUT, they have switched platform. They updated their app, and so if your phone doesn't automatically update, or your mobile device, you just go to the App Store and update it. And so this is the new platform of SafeUT, and also you should already have your materials sent to your school or your or your LEA. Please contact me if you need material. Then also we'll also really get the new updated forms that you can print stuff on your own as well. And so please let me know if you need anything on that part. And this is just a new feature. Again, like I said, it switched platforms, and so you have more user friendly. You can hit the go to our website. You can get the new dashboard training and everything. So if you have questions, concerns, please contact me, Corby Eason, and let me know how I can assist you.
All right, and just before we get into a discussion about the grants, I just want to emphasize that 0 suicides is the only acceptable goal, and this is what we want to do here in Utah. And so we're going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about the grants. So we're talking about the 2 suicide prevention grants, one extending grant funding, that's the $159,000 statewide, at least $500 per school to your secondary schools. And then in addition, last year, House Bill 346 added additional $45,000 for elementary suicide prevention / anti-bullying prevention. So all of those award letters have been sent out, and then we're also talking in behalf of Corby's suicide prevention / anti-bullying grant, which is $50,000. So what we did is collectively we tried to make sure that we could extend as much funding as possible to support your efforts. So just as an overview of acceptable use, and would you mind just reading that so they kind of know what it means?
So with the first bullet point is called Strengthen Current Prevention and Intervention Post Program. And what we are talking about is being able to provide resources and services by combining with your community partners and coalitions. And also the next one is to purchase prevention, intervention, post-prevention curricula and programming. This is like your suicide prevention program, bullying curriculum, and suicide prevention curriculum. And that's the purchase of the actually curriculum, the program. And also, bullet 2 and 3 is kind of the same thing. Then with my anti-bullying suicide prevention grant, HB3 grant, is allowed for printing material for SafeUT. Again, we have to update those forms. You'll be able to print on your own. You can, and so my max of $500 per school can go towards some printing of material as well. And also with both for Kathy's grant and my grant is personal development and training. We want you to receive PD, personal development on suicide and bullying prevention. And so that's what we want you to use it for.
Out. So this next slide is one thing that we get a lot of questions about is what can I write into my grant? What can I write into my grant? I'm just going to go back to the last slide and just emphasize the state board rule of 620/3/2. This is in board rule. What it's allocated for is to strengthen what you're currently doing and to purchase materials. So basically it's in two categories: the purchase of curriculum and also to provide training or professional development. And so in terms of unallowable items, we want these grant funds, and they're allocated for the purchase of curriculum and sustaining your programs. So these are some of the things that are not allowed, just in terms of like incentives, like T-shirts, gift cards, those kinds of things. Do you want to add to that?
Then all these things was in the program assurances, which everyone agreed to, and so we just got to make sure. And then if you have any questions, if you're in doubt, just please give us a call. We'll love for you to hear from you. Then we can talk you through or whether or not it's acceptable or not acceptable. And so when in doubt, because we want to reimburse you the money, but certain items we legally we can't. But please call us and let us know.
Okay. So here's the deadlines. What we want to do is, we realize that you've just received the award letters, but if you've made any expenditures so far, please get those into us as soon as possible so that we can start this process of reimbursement and get your agencies, your LEAs, and your charters reimbursed. So we want to do this at least quarterly for our reasons, and also so that you can, on your local levels, close out your books. So just as a reminder, the fiscal year starts from June 30th and goes to, it starts July 1st to June 30th. So that we just need to, we'll rearrange that really quick.
Then also, with that, like from beginning of this fiscal year, which was July 1, 2017, and we really would love to have from July 1 of 2017 to December 15th, we would like to have that reimbursement period turned in by the end of the year, so by December 31st. Like, please get that to us so we can just keep update on our books and make it easier for you guys to be able to get your reimbursement, because we don't want it all at the end of the year and not being able to reimburse you guys. And we're just trying to speed up that process and make it all easier for both sides.
So here's just an overview of the reimbursement process. So what you'll do is you'll submit your LEA's reimbursement form quarterly. And so as Corby was saying, if you have expended any funds, encumbered any funds thus far, go ahead and get that to us. And what we'd like to have you do is submit the reimbursement form with your invoices and receipts. Because these are state funds, we are audited, and we need to make sure that all the purchases coincide with the assurances that you agreed to. So you can find the reimbursement form at that website, schools.utah.gov/SAS/SCEP/grants. And the reimbursement form is the last tab at the top of that page.
I know with our website being changed and new, if you have any issue, please email us and we'll send it directly to you. But at least try it first to get on the website.
And with your award letters, I think we sent you a fillable reimbursement form that you can use at this vantage point if you're not able to access the reimbursement form on the web page. So this is our reimbursement form. And we'll just take a few minutes to talk about this. Because the grant is primarily for the purchase of curricula or professional development, you'll see that most of you will be filling in C and D and probably G. Okay, so supplies and materials, that would be for Corby's grant, which would be, an example would be like the Safe UT.
Training materials.
Okay. And that would be supporting your efforts there with suicide prevention as well. And then oftentimes when you will purchase professional or technical services, that will be C, or other purchase services would be E, or purchased, it's mostly in supplies and materials, and I would say C. So if you have any questions on how to fill up this form, feel free to call us, and we can actually give you more instructions and help you if you have any questions on how to fill this form out. And we're going to turn the time over for questions. I'm just going to, this is our contact information, and then, okay, so for questions, what you can do is unmute your mics or type in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and fill the questions. Okay, so we've got, we're just waiting for some questions to come in. All right. Are there indirect costs associated with the grant? I've had this question before. This is kind of on a case-by-case basis, but it just depends on the size of your LEA and also just on the volume. But typically, I'd say the short answer would be we want to avoid indirect costs if at all possible. But if you need to call me and you have extenuating circumstances, we can see what we can do on a case-by-case basis, especially in the larger districts.
And one person asked to put the contact information back on the screen, and here you go.
Here you go. This is also in your grant applications, and also our resource information is on our webpage as well. But the best way to contact me is via email. I'm in the field a lot, and I also will get, if you do call me, I will get an email of that call as well. So that's the best way to contact me.
We had a question about project numbers.
We had a question about project numbers. Let's see if we need to go back to the...
So those have changed.
Okay. So that is something that's changed. That may have been on another form.
So it's just you're going to use the CFDA.
So what you want to do, that's something that we don't have this year, so you would use the CFDA number. And I think we're also chatting back to you on that.
Yeah, you can find that on your award letter. You can find the CFDA number on the award letter that your district received, and so that's how you fill in on the reimbursement form.
And if we've sent a copy of your award letter, we also have copies of the award letter. So if somehow you need an additional copy of the award letter, you can just email us. Probably Amanda. We'll go back. So we're going to go back to any additional questions? Okay, we have another question. Oh, she's typing right now. We're ahead of you. And thank you so much for tuning in today. I guess. Oh, that's great. So I think we have one final question, and we're just waiting for...
So it's a form issue.
Okay, this is a form issue.
So
Tori has tested out the sample form I had sent out with the award letters, and it looks like I didn't edit one of the fields. So Tori, I'll go ahead and update the form, and I'm going to send everybody a blind copy email and just update the form with everyone. And again, you can find that on our website under the Grants tab. The form itself is actually there now as well.
Okay, I think that's it so far, and please don't hesitate to contact us and with additional questions, and if we can provide technical support as you're implementing your grants. One thing that we didn't discuss that we will be doing some monitoring this year, and we'll follow up with an email and probably another follow-up webinar just to see. We just kind of wanted to get you guys going with your grants and answer additional questions that you might have. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. Any other questions?
There's one more question.
Oh, one more question. Sorry, it just came in. What's my website?
No, okay. We'll see the 3,000.
Oh, okay. With the $3,000 grant, are we allowed to purchase inspiration paintings or quotes supporting grit in our schools? I will. Oh, in the hallways. You know what? I will respond to you and in an email and just give you some recommendations. All right? Any additional questions? Okay, thank you so much for your participation today. All right, thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.